Welcome to KR Films Entertainment Channel. Today's video we will be going through the 2017 movie Papillon. It's time to recall. Let's get started. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The movie starts and we see a handsome looking gentleman Henry who has the capability to pick the lock. Have any locker in the world. We see him demonstrating his talents as he goes on to pick a safe locker and takes out some diamonds. He gives 70% of these diamonds to his boss and keeps the remaining with him. When he goes to see his boss, he goes on to see that they are beating up a man very badly, but he does not give a crap about that because it's a routine thing for them. Now he then makes his way back home where his girlfriend is waiting for him. We learn that she wants to get settled in with him, have their own house in which they can start their life together. Her name is the net. He tells them that to just give them 6 more months and he will have enough money for them to get settled with ease. However, things really do not go as planned because the very next day he gets arrested. It is told that he has murdered someone. The man from the last night had been found dead. It is revealed that he has beaten to death, and one of the men who went to testify as a witness has told police that he saw Papillon there, so they now think that he is the murderer. It however seems like he has been framed by his own boss, though he has an alibi from his lover Ninette. Papillon is convicted and condemned to the notorious penal colony in French Guiana, a hellish person from which nobody has escaped. His girlfriend goes to him and tells them that she can appeal for him, but he says that he would try to escape the prison rather than trying this way because no one is going to listen to them in the court. He then tells her that he does not know how much time it takes for him to get out of the prison so she can move on. If she wants, she says no to it. When the net leaves, another inmate named July goes on to talk to him. He goes on to tell Papillon that if he wants to escape this prison is gonna need a lot of money. He then goes on to show him another inmate named Louis Dagger, who a counterfeiter. When they are walking to the ship that is about to take them to prison, Papillon goes on to set his eyes at Degas. It is clear that this man is famous and a lot of people recognize them, and by face is told that this man is really rich and he is carrying a lot of money with him. Even in prison he approaches the man and goes on to offer him his protection. Of Degas is willing to shower some money on him, but they get claims right away. Degas is in his cell when he sees a man killing another man. This man goes on to slice open the other man to take out the money in his stomach. Good tries to alert the guards, but they do not give a crap about that once they have been paid well not to step in. The next day Papillon again comes to see the man and offers him his protection for Dagger's money again, and this time he talks about an escape too. Dagger's seen what happened last night with a man who had some money, so he decides to form an alliance with Papillon. The billion however makes it abundantly clear that there should not be a third man in this party, and Dagger agrees right away. And now says that he would like to spend Christmas with his family, so they better devise a plan quickly. When all the prisoners are sleeping the next night, the same prisoner that killed the other prisoner for money last night, he now goes on to make his move on Degas. Papillon however comes to Digger's rescue and goes on to beat the crap out of the man with ease. As the fight goes on, the other prisoners go on to cheer and it attracts the attention of the guards. They only stop when the guards intervene, telling them to put a stop to the fight. Right away they then go on to catch Papillon and punish him, but not the other man because they are probably being paid by him. The next morning when all of them wake up, they are already at the island. They are going to be imprisoned. July comes to Papillon and asks them for a cover. This is what July goes on to cut himself and then intentionally falls off the ladder. When a guard comes to check on him, it turns out he is injured too. He taken away to the infirmary while the other prisoners are already marching toward the prison. July winks and Papillon as he is taken away by the guards on a stretcher. Whether you are inside the prison, Papillon starts looking here and there. He tries to take a quick scan of this prison before he has taken inside his cell. The warden there goes on tell the prisoners that they should never even think about escaping because it is impossible to get out of this place. When Papillon and Dagger enter inside, the pillion tells they get to stay in a corner. He then goes on to talk to a man and ask them who are pairing up the inmates, and this is when Degas comes in to dig. It goes on to offer the man some money, asking him to bring them a notebook right away. It turns out Dagger has kept the money and his butthole because he is not allowed to take it there. As they do that, they hear some noise outside and it is revealed that a prisoner has tried to escape from the infirmary. When Papillon goes to the window to see what is going on, he sees that is July who's trying to get out of there. He staged all that injury drama to do this, of course, or the prisoners are now in line and they are to be assigned the work they are going to be doing in prison. It is revealed the Poppy and Dagger have already been assigned work in the infirmary, but the deputy order does not really seem to like Degas, so he goes on to put them on Road Zero. Road Zero is the most brutal task there. They're supposed to collect rocks and even lift heavy ones, so Degas is not really the man to be there, as he is a rich lad who was never ever done any labor like that. The man finds it hard to even push a simple cart. He is really weak, and as time goes by he goes on and tell Papillon that he is having a bad stomach, which is why he is already lost some money. Papillon knows that the money is important. He right away stop pushing and starts looking for the money on the track. They are pushing the big cart when they are sitting there to eat. Later on, Dagger goes on to see that the man sitting beside him is already dead. Degas is about to call the guards, but another man gets there. This man is sillier and he tells Digger not to call anyone. He goes on to take the dead man's food and distribute it among Dagger himself and Papillon. They then go on to talk about the lives they used to have when they were not in the prison. In the meantime, Degas gets attacked by another man and Papillon yet again comes to his rescue. Later they continue pushing the cart. When they are done with their lunch, as they move forward, they come across a cart that has been stuck. There are some women sitting in that stuck cart and they ask the prison guards for help. The guards go on to tell them to get into the cart. Papillon India Aga are pushing, making the cart even heavier. There is also a man among them and Papillon takes this as an opportunity. He right away talks to the man and asks them to arrange a boat and they will give him a lot of money. The man on the cart at first says no and even goes on to call the guards to tell on them, but Papillon quickly raises the offer and the man agrees. But Billion Indigo or later taking a bath after getting back from work when they are attacked by some random prisoners. Dagger of course cannot even defend himself, so Papillon has to fight them off on his own. Dagger then starts shouting, telling Papillon that the guards are coming, and Papillon goes on the shout back at him to shut the fuck up. Later when they are in the cell and about to sleep, Daygood tries to talk to Papillon, who is still pissed. Dagger has realized by now that he is not going to be able to survive in this prison. He would have already been dead if it were not from Papillon, so he decides to wait for his wife to get him out of the prison, because by the time she arranges everything he thinks he will already be dead. He decides that he is just going to get out of this place with Papillon. Now it seems like the two have started to form a bond. Now the next morning brings horror to the prison. As we go on, see that July has been caught trying to run out of the prison, and on top of that he accidentally killed a guard who is taken in for a while. The prisoners in the big yard where the guards make them all see what happens to the people who try to mess with the prison staff or tried. Iran. July is put into the guillotine, and the next thing we see, his head is rolling down right into the basket near Dagger and Papillon. As Daigo sees in horror, they then go on to pick Dagger in Papillon to take away the dead prisoner's body. On the way, Digger starts to feel sick and lets go of the body. The guard sees this and gets pissed at Dagger. He goes on to tell him to continue walking with the body, but Degas is not able to continue because he feels too sick. When the guard sees that he is defying his orders, he goes on to take out his weapon. The next thing we see, Degas screams as the guard whips him. They are in a forest. Papillon does not understand what he should do to help Degas in this situation. He then cannot stand it any longer, so he right away knocks the guard out and runs away in confusion because he just saw what happens to the people who mess with the guards. Papillon keeps running and the other guards gone to follow him right away. Digger's taken away by two guards who stayed behind. Pumping keeps running and it is night time when it gets to the man whom he talked about the boat. However, it all turns out to be a try, as the guards had Papillon at gunpoint and he is caught. Papillon is taken to the warden. They tell him that he is lucky that the guard he attacked did not die, so they are now just going to be sending Papillon to another solitary confinement which is on another island, and he will remain there for the next 2 years. When Papillon is there, he is sick of it. The place is too quiet and it starts they torture him mentally. He one day receives the coconut with a note saying he is always going to receive coconuts. Papillon is happy because he has realized that this is from Degas. Warden however finds out and kills the man that brought him this. The ward and then tries to ask Papillon what is going on, but the man does not give away anything. The warding does not like getting cuts as ration and half this makes Papillon weak, but he still remains in high spirits. The warden comes to him again after a few days and tries to make him talk by giving them food. Papillon still does not tell him anything, so the warden tells the guards to put him in the dark cell. There Papillon starts hallucinating. He sees his time out of the prison, his life with Ninette and whatnot. One day he sees a vault and tries to open it but fails. Papillon then opens the vault eventually, but all he sees is his past life on the other side. It was all his imagination. He has been hallucinating this whole time. 2 years have gone by just like that, and he is now brought back to the prison where Degas as Papillon is kept in the infirmary, where he keeps acting like he has gone mad from the solitary confinement, but in truth is just fine. We see the Dagger is down aid to the warden and still has money to fund the escape. Dagger also works in the infirmary, so now he right away. The see him dig it tells Papillon that Cellier had a connection to get a boat, so he is also on board now, and he sexually abused Matter Red as the fourth to join the dangerous venture as Papillon sees him being abused by the infirmary attendant and offers him to escape with them. Dagger drugs the guards using pills that are actually meant to sedate a supposedly insane Papillon, and the three others escape over the walls to the jungle, with Degas injuring his leg in the process to reach a bodega paid for. As a storm approaches, it is clear that they will not all survive in a small leaky boat, so Ye wants to kill the injured Dagger. While Papillon defends Degas, who stabbed and killed Cellier as he fights with Papillon after a treacherous storm destroys their boat. The three survivors find themselves being treated in a Colombian convent. Their apparent freedom is short-lived. The Colombian authorities arrived, kill Much Reed, and return Papillon to Royal Island, where he is subjected to defy years in solitary confinement. While Degas is to Devil's Island, Papillon is released from solitary as a weathered older man and sent to Devil's Island, where the high cliffs provide a natural barrier for escape attempts. He finds Degas, who was adjusted to prison life and has no interest in escape, because a fall from the cliffs would mean certain death. Papillon billion bags coconuts together for a raft during a swell of waves. He jumps from the cliffs and survives. For the third will escape was a success, and he is a free man. He writes a memoir based on his time in prison and escape attempts. The movie Postscript breathes over 80,000 prisoners' work condemned to the penal colony and French Guiana, most of whom never returned to France and Russia or his autobiography. Papillon became the #1 bestseller for 21 weeks in France. To date, it has sold over 13 million copies in 30 languages. In 1970, the French Minister of Justice signed a decree allowing Sharia to return to France. For the remainder of his life, he lived as a free man, the penal colony and French Guiana.